All right, we are officially starting another free Alchemy of Dreamwork call. Thank you so much, Bridget and Suzette, for showing up. Really excited to have you with me and to talk about Dreamwork and how this practice has been so helpful for me and how I am using it and teaching other people how to use it as a coach to learn more about what's really going on with the people who I serve. Um, I went to school to be a life coach and learned that whole program, and that was really, really helpful. And it also happened that I've been doing dream work for about 15 years, and it just occurred to me like, wow, if I can get my clients to start sharing their dreams with me, I'll learn more about what's really going on for them, and I can probably help them a whole lot quicker. So for the last 4 years, I've been doing that with a bunch of people who I've met in my travels around the world. And it has turned out to be an absolutely amazing combination and practice, life coaching and what I call dream informed coaching. And in addition to that, for the two of you, I'm hoping that you'll learn something for you personally that's of some practical value. And as I mentioned, I'm recording these weekly talks to share with other people. You might come and watch on YouTube. So wherever you are, whoever you are, thanks for showing up. Let's talk about dreams. In the first few calls that we did, I talked about the protocols for how to catch your dreams. Often people come to this work and they say that they're not remembering their dreams and they don't know if they will or how to. And so we talked a lot about that in the first group talk. That's available in one of the recordings if you want to check that out. The main thing is set the intention before you go to bed every night. I'm going to remember my dreams. Intention is everything. And then before you wake up in the morning, freeze before you get up and set the intention again. I'm going to remember my dreams, and give yourself as much time as you need to either go back into the dream state, which is usually what happens for me. I'll wake up at like maybe 5 o'clock in the morning, and I give myself an hour and a half or so before I get up. And then right after I wake up, I'll consciously go back into an in between sleep state and consciously catch my dreams at that time. And there's a bunch of other protocols, which I won't cover again now, but like I said, they're available on previous videos if you're interested in that. So I mentioned life coaching and how this helps us as coaches or wellness facilitators, wellness practitioners, or whatever you call people who help other people be happy and healthy most of the time. I was sort of surprised when I went to the IPEC school and found that they too, like a whole bunch of other schools, are really tracking frequencies of consciousness. And right at the first live 3-day event they had, and what was a 2-year long program, they showed, and I'm going to share with you guys. Let me do my share screen here. So this is an example of one of the charts, and there's just so many of these nowadays. People are using this practice more and more to track their consciousness and literally raise their frequency, which really correlates to feeling good most of the time. And that's what this work is all about. And it turns out that when we're feeling good most of the time, our whole world transforms and we start having amazing, magical connections and experiences like every day. It just becomes the new normal in a way that it never happened when we were not feeling so good. And so, really, this practice and why I'm calling it the alchemy of dream work is it is a practice of transforming suffering, which is where these lower energetic states are. If you're feeling shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, and anger, for example, a lot of the time in your day, then interestingly, our lives reflect how we're feeling in magical ways. We just keep finding ourselves in experiences that feel that way that we're feeling. And this isn't new news at all. And I know you guys have been exposed to this. Many, whoever's listening to this call, perhaps you've heard of this. More and more people are catching on to this practice of alchemy and seeing that changing how we feel most of the time and what we're thinking most of the time into higher energetic states remarkably changes what shows up in what we perceive as reality in our what I call the waking dream, our life. So this is one chart. I'm going to show you just a couple of more here. Let's see if I can move this menu down. Here's another one. I kind of like this one. I know Suzette, and Bridget, maybe too. I spent about 15 years working a whole lot with ayahuasca, this plant medicine that when you drink this brew, it has a way of bringing your mind into a theta brainwave state, and you start seeing things in your subconscious that, particularly for people who aren't doing dream work, um, maybe you've never seen before or felt before. And very often, when people first start doing that work, and also when people start doing dream work, what first shows up in the dreams, if they're not already really happy and living an amazing, joyful, abundant life in gratitude, is dreams or visions that feel like a lot of the feelings that are on this chart, which correlate to these lower energetic centers, which is where most of the people on planet Earth live and feel from most of the time. And what I found remarkable, and for the first several years, I was definitely one of these people. I'd be at the retreat center, and for a couple of years here in Costa Rica, I was co-facilitating those retreats, and people would come for the retreats, and they would seem really happy and normal, and we'd have an intro conversation before their ceremonies, and they'd tell me how they're doing okay and looking forward to a ceremony, and everything seemed like it was okay and they were stable. And then once they went into the medicine and their subconscious really started showing up for them, they would have a really, really rough ride, be purging their face off all night and really, really having a difficult time. And it's like, holy cow, man, there's like stuff going on with everybody that we don't see. And that even as a coach, even when I'm working with someone going through the normal coaching practice, I'll ask them, how you're doing. what's going on in your life? And very often it's, things are okay, and for some reason, all of us tend to put on a facade, uh, you know, uh, so because perhaps we want to be liked and we want to appear normal, whatever that is. And and then I would see, when after they, had their first ceremony or so, I'd be with them, holding their bucket and, and sitting with them and helping them calm down and breathe and connect. And it's okay. It's, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. This is perfect. I'm here with you. It's okay. Go into it. And it turns out, like a year and a half ago, after doing, 4 years full time of doing this dream work practice is as powerful. It's connecting with the same subconscious. And I'm doing the same work I was doing and supporting people with plant medicines, but you don't actually need any medicine for it. And you can do it anywhere you are in the world for free. And it turns out that, even though I am a coach and I'm, I'm good at it, and I've seen some really great benefits from the clients who I've worked with, there's no better coach in the world for us than our own higher self. And this work and connecting with the dreams and opening a doorway to the other 90% of the mind that for most people they're not connecting with allows us to really know ourselves deeply and to become aware of these patterns of thought, patterns of feeling, and where the root of those are, which for most of us started in the first 7 years of our life, where the core programming of our consciousness was created. So this little slide that I'm showing just shows, where, the feelings and the manifestations of these feelings. And so much of it, I just say it loud and clear, so much of it is sexual stuff.
Yeah.
Great. So here is another screen from another teacher, David Hawkins, whose books I highly, highly recommend. He uses a little bit of a different system, tracking frequency of consciousness as a tool for coaching, self-realization, and manifesting a dreamlike life. And this is his chart. And again, you'll see at the bottom in these lower parts of the chart, we have shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, and anger. Feelings that so many people in the world live with so much of their life. And this practice of dream work and dream informed coaching is a powerful practice by which we can transform these kinds of energies, these patterns that we learned mostly in the first 7 years of our childhood. And they're associated usually with memories, stories of experiences that we've had in the past, which we're still holding on to. Totally understandably, these things really hurt us. And there's a deep memory and pattern of thought and feeling associated with these traumas that happen in childhood. And we can, through the coaching practice, we can learn to see what's happened in the past in a different way. And perhaps see that everything that happened to us happened for us. And we can start choosing consciously how we feel, how we think, patterns of thought and feeling. And this is essentially the practice of what I call the alchemy of dream work. So, enough of these charts. That gives you just to show you. I mean, there's so many of them. um, and even if we look at alchemy, this practice literally of alchemy, the artwork of alchemy shows the seven different chakras, and it's back in the 1600s. The people who knew were tracking these patterns of thought and feeling, and teaching each other how to move into higher states of consciousness and experience a magical, mystical life as a result. In those days, it had to be hidden. And so it was veiled for the most part um, in public view, and was taught through um, the artistry of the times of the alchemists and alchemy. So, so before I go any further, for the two of you here on this call live right now, Suzette and Bridget, I'm curious, what 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 are you hoping to get out of the next hour or so in this call? Do you have any specific intentions or desires or questions before I move on any further?
I was really hoping to share a dream with you.
Okay.
But I didn't have any that I remembered last night, and the night before was a little bit random. So I'm quite curious if the other lady has a dream to share, and just so I can see how you work with it.
Boy, do I.
Oh, great.
Fantastic. Good. Well, let's do that. And I'm so glad you said that, Bridget. It occurred to me, after talking about some of the foundationals in the last two group calls, I had planned to share my own dreams in the last 4 nights, to give you an example of how I create my dream journal, and how I process my own dreams. It's the same way I work with the people I work with. And I think, after you get the fundamentals and you start connecting the dream with the dreams, the best way to really learn this work is to do it and see how it works, and to show some practical examples. So moving forward in these calls, it remains my intention to continue to literally share the dreams and share my own life, which is absolutely, I am living the life of my dreams. I have for the last 6 years. I don't do hardly anything. I don't make hardly any major life decisions without checking in with my dreams and getting guidance. And, people I'm going to work with or connect with, or projects to do, all of this stuff is informed by my dreams. So some of the examples that I thought I might share with you in this call will exemplify that. And Suzette, I would for sure love to go through any dreams you would like to share. We can do that either before or after, or in between I share some of mine. Which would you prefer?
I really don't care. So you want to do one, and then I will. I don't know.
Why don't I start? Because it'll demonstrate um, the way I create my dream journal, and you and I have worked together in the past, so you know how I recommend people track their dreams and label their dreams and stuff. Let me just open up my screen here and share it with you guys. No, literally share my dreams with you. All right. Is that coming up on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the way I work with dreams, and again, my work is informed mostly by Dzogchen teachings. It's a Tibetan Buddhist lineage of dream yoga. This is the practice that my teacher trained me in, my primary teacher, who I worked with for 7 years before he encouraged me to start teaching others this work. So my approach is mostly informed by Dzogchen and Native American tradition. But it turns out most people who are well trained in dream work follow a similar methodology. And the most important part is writing down your dreams every day, setting that intention every night or as much as you can, and starting a dream journal. Literally, just keeping a dream journal. Something about that, doing that practice reinforces, I think it reminds our subconscious that we're listening, we're paying attention, and the dreams just continue to come with more and more consistency and clarity as we work with them more and more over time. And for me and most people, once they start making this connection each night, there may be 3 or 5 or more separate movies each night. Individual dreams, very often they have a similar and related theme depending on what is going on. And something about the way our subconscious, or many people call it our higher self, this other 90% of our mind, something about how that works, it will keep on trying and trying over and over to show us what is most helpful for us through our dreams, unless or until we understand what we're being shown and we take action and change some of these patterns of thought and feeling and behavior as guided in the dreams. So as you will see, as I share some of these in the last four nights of my own dreams, very similar theme throughout. And usually when I have a call with someone, they go an hour and a half long and we just jump right into it, going through all their dreams, just like I'm going to here now. Usually at the end of the session, we identify one very common theme that's represented through multiple movies and, 5 or 10 different dreams that have been shared for that last week in between calls. So, I will share here my own dream. And it's kind of interesting after working with so many people over the last 6 years, listening to their dreams and reading, usually 50 to 100 dreams a week from other people. I almost never share my own dreams.
Hmm.
And it's kind of feels good to do that and to let you all know I'm doing my own work too. And to share just how that is done. So in the dream journal, what I do usually every night is, in fact, every night, I record the dreams on a voice recorder. I don't use a phone because the LED lights, if I turn that on, the LEDs distract me, and the less LEDs you can have while you're getting ready to go to bed, and while you're in bed, the better for your clarity of vision. So I use this voice recorder that just has a real simple push to record button. So at 5 o'clock in the morning or 2 or whenever the dreams come through, my first dreams, I'll just roll over, grab my recorder, click the record button, and record the dream. I find it to be way better than turning on a light and trying to write it down like I used to way back in the day. And then every morning, or sometimes I'll wait 2 or 3 days, I'll play back the dreams, and many times I don't even remember what they were. And it's like going back into the dream totally new when I listen to the recordings, and it's like, wow, yeah, I remember that, and I'm back in it. So that process of listening to the dream again, reflecting on it a second time, and then typing out the dreams, or maybe writing by hand if you use a handwritten journal, it reinforces um, the work, and it provides an opportunity to feel into nuances in the dream and details that maybe you didn't record on your voice summary. So I find that, that 2 or 3 step approach to be really useful. Record with a voice recorder, and then transcribe onto a dream journal that you keep, and then it just keeps on growing over the weeks and years. So here are excerpts from mine from just since the 27th. You guys ready for me to start with the first dream?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So in the first dream, I'm standing in a lush pasture with 5 or 6 people around me. And you'll note that I'm writing it in the first person. Instead of I did do this or I saw this, I write it in the first person as if I'm back in the dream when I'm transcribing it. It's a process of going back into the dream when I'm writing it out. And I write with a little bit more detail when I'm doing that transcription. And then the things that I'm looking for are mostly feelings. The most important thing really in this work is coming to know the patterns of thought and feeling that we're experiencing most of the time, every day. And our dreams show us that. And the practice of alchemy is one which allows us to transform those feelings that maybe don't feel so good and start choosing different patterns that feel better, and therefore transform the life in our waking dream around us. So I highlight feelings, specific feelings, and then I highlight places, people, and anything else that just jumps out at me in a specific dream. Because what often happens is as I go through multiple dreams over a period of weeks or months, or even in one night, I find similar patterns represented in different ways. And for lots of reasons, just this practice of highlighting and tracking different things and beings and feelings that show up in the dreams has been really helpful for me. So in this case, the opening scene finds me in a lush pasture with 5 or 6 people around me. This is the setting for the dream. This gives me an idea where my consciousness is. If I keep finding myself in dirty alleyways, in really noisy streets, in really uncomfortable environments, well, this is telling me something about where I'm living in my life, where we find ourselves, literally the place, the house, or the location is an indicator of our general state of consciousness and what's going on in our day-to-day most of the time. So in this case, I find myself in a lush pasture. That feels good. And I share with a man I don't know before. Now that for me is significant because if I meet a person in the dream and it's somebody that I know, well, the dream may be showing me something about myself illustrated by this connection with this apparent other, this person. And the dream really isn't about them. It's about the feelings and attributes of that character, which my subconscious knows that I might connect with by bringing him into the movie and the dream. So when someone shows up in a dream that I don't actually know, then I know that this may be more of a, a literal kind of teaching coming through in the dream, by way of this particular person showing up and the conversation that we have. And that's essentially what happened in this particular dream. I share with him that I've been traveling for 6 years, focusing on my spiritual practice and coaching people at plant medicines and retreats around the world. I tell him that I love the work and find it fulfilling to be helpful, to be helping people transform their lives. But I've done a lot of it for free, and I'd spent a lot of my savings while living in amazing places and having a blast. I explained that a year ago I was guided to let go of most of my long-term clients and spend a year alone in isolation, deepening into silence and grounding a new state of perceptual awareness. And now I was concerned about how I'd support myself financially. Since now I no longer am doing plant medicine work, have no need to go to retreats, I don't really know how to find and connect with clients online. So far, almost all of my clients have been people I've met out just wherever I've been or through referrals. So it's really interesting that this came up in the dream. I hadn't really set a conscious intention about this, and yet it came through consistently in my dreams, as you'll see. So having had that conversation with this character, this aspect of myself in the dream, my uncle Skip shows up and asks me if I'm okay and if I needed some help. And my uncle he's a great guy, like super financially successful. He's like part of my family, and it really felt great that right after I have this conversation with this person in this dream, my uncle shows up and offers me a support. And this is an example of what the subconscious seems to be doing every single night. We may, with that 10% of the mind, start getting lost into a story that's not serving us. And we may be thinking about this thing consciously overnight. And this has been a pattern where, whether we're aware of it or not, throughout the day. There's the monkeys. And
Really?
then, yeah, I'm in the jungle. Thanks for chiming in, guys.
Yeah.
So then the subconscious at night, while we're dreaming, the subconscious is regulating our emotional state at night. And for most people, not even aware that that's happening. And to be able to see that and really connect with it and feel it is really, really helpful. So this is an example. My uncle Skip shows up and offers me some support. And immediately in the dream, I feel good. Like I'm feeling this support, like I got some support. And then he invites me to go have a conversation with him. And we start taking a walk and we pass a large swimming pool. Well, for me, in the language of dream work, large bodies of water, and it's different for most people. I don't interpret dreams. I help people connect with what the meanings of these different symbols mean for them. And it turns out that a lot of these symbols that show up in the dreams are universal archetypes which have a similar significance for most people. And water, for example, for most people represents either the emotions or the subconscious. And for me, I have let my higher self know that when I see a body of water, I want that to be representative of my subconscious. And so that's something I have learned to absolutely trust. When it shows up in the dream, I see a large body of water. There's some connection there about something that's going on in my subconscious. And in this case, there's a connection between my subconscious and a family member, something that's going on with my subconscious and receiving support from my family member. So Skip, my uncle, and I start walking, and we walk by this pool, and then all of a sudden, he falls into the pool in the dream. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Skip. And then I realize he's not like, he can swim, everything's okay. He just fell in the pool. It's all good. But while he was falling, I realized I couldn't stop him from falling. That was the words that I used when I recorded it. So I wrote it down. Maybe there's something about that, not being able to stop someone from falling deep into their subconscious. Maybe something about me falling deep into unconscious patterns. So I realized he was okay. He just got wet, and he pulls himself out of the water, and he's totally fine. That's the end of the first scene in that night's dream. So at the end of the dream, and Suzette, you know this from having worked together, what I always do is for myself and people I work with, I always invite them to summarize the dream after having processed it, like I just did now and rereading it, by saying, for me, I say, thank you, beloved. That's what I call this, whatever this mystery is that communicates to me and sends me this clear guidance. Some people call it the higher self. Some people call it God. Whatever that word is, this amazing part of everything that comes to us and teaches us every night. Giving it a name, to me, emphasizes that I have an intimate relationship with this, whatever that is. And I'm cultivating that. I'm deepening it, and I'm honoring it through this practice of dream work. And specifically by taking what this being, I won't say being, but this part of me, this beloved, as I call it, or the mystery, as I often call it too, because who knows what that is, something I've learned to trust. By honoring it in the dream and taking action based upon that guidance, that connection is further reinforced. So the practice that I do is I say, thank you, beloved, for bringing me this dream. What I'm getting from it is this. So I'll do it now. What I'm getting from this dream is that I'm being shown that there's a part of me that has been concerned about how I'm going to make money because I'm following my dreams, doing what I know I'm called to do. And I'm no longer going to retreats. I've spent all this time in isolation, like my dreams have guided me to do. I don't feel called to go to retreats anymore. And I don't know how people are going to find me. So there's an understandable concern. Totally makes sense. And it's real. Right? My corporate job, I was making 200,000 to 300,000 a year for over 10 years, and to go from that to a couple thousand a month, living an amazing life in the jungle where it only cost me 500 a month to live in this awesome place. Still, that money's got to come from somewhere because I've spent most of my savings over the last 6 years. So anyway, that's what's going on in this dream, and it just feels so good that I felt the support. And what I'm taking from this dream is that there's something about my subconscious and a pattern in my subconscious that has something to do with receiving support from my family. And to be totally authentic here, and in my view, it's not vulnerable because there's nothing to fear. I'm not in danger of being hurt. some people describe this kind of authentic sharing as vulnerable. It's not vulnerable. It's actually liberating. But after I came back from Costa Rica, serving ayahuasca for 2 years, my parents told me that they heard about ayahuasca and knew that it was satanic. And they were no longer going to allow me to stay at their house or be welcome in their life. And they wanted to limit communication to text only. And so I went from feeling my parents are rather well off and just having that sort of feeling like I'm always going to be connected, be okay because I have a family connection. It went away a year and a half ago. And this dream is showing me that there's something there still for me to sit with and really allow myself to feel. And how wonderful that in the dream, there was also this connection. There is this support. That something came and offered me support. So the last part in this ritual, and I'll just go through it. I'll go through all the other dreams really quick. The last part in the ritual, first part is thank you for bringing me this dream. This is what I'm getting from it. And I summarize the dream. And then the third part is, and this is what I'm going to do to honor the dream. So in this case, with this dream, beloved, I am going to really allow myself to feel this feeling and how it felt to have my parents say what they said and to experience a disconnection from them because they see life in a different way. And that's totally okay. And I'm going to continue to pray for me and them and send them love and to do all I can to minimize judgment and shaming anybody or blaming anybody and really come to terms with it and to be aware of this pattern if and when it shows up more in my life. So that's an example. That's one scene, one night, 4 nights ago, of something that came through in the dream that for me personally is really helpful. That like, yeah, I remember having that. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out about that. And yet there's something about that my dreams are showing me that is important for me to really get and to transmute. So that's what that first scene was all about. Thank you guys for listening. Are you okay with me going on just real quick, going through a couple more dreams, or do you have any questions on that first one?
No, I'm so sorry they did that. It must have been hard.
Everything that happens to us happens for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you for saying that, Suzette. I appreciate that.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for listening. And it also feels good to be witnessed. I find, very often in spending time with other people, sharing their dreams and what comes up, what has helped them most is to be with someone who listens and to be heard and cared for. Like I don't even need to do anything very often. It's just to be a witness and to be a support as they're going through their process is really helpful. So thank you both for that. It's been 6 years since I've shared my dreams with anybody else, really, except for my romantic partners.
Mm.
All right. So here's another really neat one, happened right after that one. And here's something else that I do and recommend for each dream. Give it a date in the dream journal and I put the scene next to it if there's multiple dreams in a night. And then I give it a title summarizing what that dream is. Right. And then going back later, something will come up and I'll remember a dream I had sometimes years before. I'm able to quickly find the dreams that I'm looking for because of the titles that I named them by. So in this case, I call it special flashlights business. And in this dream, I'm in a boardroom with a former colleague named Jason. He's one of the few healthy, heart-centered people I worked with when I was in the corporate world. He's showing me a demo of some special flashlights that he patented and was looking for my help in distributing them and building his new company. That was it. So for me, what I got from this, and I'm just gonna, for the sake of efficiency, I'm just gonna jump right to it. Thank you, beloved, for bringing me this dream. What I'm taking from it is that this dream is showing me, again, that I'm being guided into helping people illuminate the shadows in their lives through this work that I'm doing and the book that I'm writing. And also how good it feels to me to be working with healthy, heart-centered people. And Jason was one of those guys in the corporate world, and there were so few of them in Silicon Valley. And there's something about that that will come up in another dream that I share. So the way I am going to honor this dream is I will continue in this work through sharing in YouTube videos for free, however I can, through one-on-one work, through my own work of really illuminating the shadows and coming to know myself deeply and helping others come to know themselves deeply. That's what the special flashlight represents to me. It was just really super clear and encouraging that encouraging me to stay on this path. So the next dream, scene 5, same night. I'm working out and feeling strong in a fancy multi-storied health club in San Francisco. Some people I don't know invite me to go across the street where there's a pool, a high-lit pool, affiliated with the club, which I didn't know was there. It had a diving platform and the pool was really deep. I sensed that underneath the pool was some sort of sex club, which is totally random. And I had, and as I considered that and their invitation for me to go over and swim in that pool, it was immediate, no interest whatsoever, and I turned down their offer. So again, going through the summation, thank you, beloved, for bringing me this dream. What I'm getting from this dream is that this is another example, as you so often show me in dreams, of an opportunity to reinforce clear choice and choosing the highest path in my life, not only in my conscious state, but even in my subconscious, in my dreams. I am not entertaining deviant sexual thoughts or behavior. It's not of interest to me. And it feels so good that there was no hesitation or titillization whatsoever when this came up in the dream. And I know that this has helped me notch up maybe a little bit higher in my vibrational frequency because I chose right action even in my dreams. Okay, I'm going to do one more, and then Suzette, I would love to hear your dream. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right, so this is a little bit of a different kind of a dream. I call it Merkaba Travels.
Yeah.
I'm walking down a beautiful shimmering road. Everything feels futuristic and super clean. I notice a building next to me made of some sort of crystal rose-colored material, like this rose quartz that I carry with me all the time. I realize I'm in the land of the castles in the sky and that I'm dreaming. I know this place. I've been there a bunch. I go through my usual protocol when I realize I'm dreaming, because there's an indicator that this kind of stuff doesn't happen normally in life. Buildings aren't made out of rose quartz in normal life. And I caught that while I was in the dream. And that was a trigger for me to consciously go into a lucid dream experience. So the way that I do that is, first there's the awareness, and then there's a practice of really calming the mind. You know, at first when this started happening, I was like, oh my gosh, I know I'm dreaming. I'm lucid dreaming. And then I would lose it, right? And I'd be out of it. So part of the protocol, once I see that indicator, is I'm extremely conscious of my mental state, and I allow myself to be still. It's not my first rodeo. I know how to do this. I'm calm. It's okay. I'm going into a lucid dream. Thank you. So that's what I mean by my usual protocol of calming the mind and preparing for a lucid dream. So now I'm in it, and then I think, well, what do I want to do this time in my lucid dream? And this time I visualize Merkaba, which is, do you guys both know what a Merkaba is? It's like two intersected pyramids. Something about these images and focusing on them. Holy cow. And people have written books about this stuff too. Like, it happened to me once, wide awake, meditating on a Merkaba, and it just like totally went out of my body.
Mm.
So I decided to do that in this lucid dream. I visualize a Merkaba right when I'm in. It's like, okay, I landed. I'm in my lucid dream. What am I going to do now? I visualize the Merkaba. And then, and this is significant, instead of seeing it as a Merkaba, I feel it as if I am it in the lucid dream. This works with your eyes open or closed. And so as I did that, I am being the Merkaba in my lucid dream, or Merkaba, however you pronounce it. My heart starts to feel like it's getting pulled out of my chest. And I know I'm going into another dimension somewhere. And before, when that first started happening in my meditations and in my dreams, it happened a bunch of times, and it was so overwhelming, like it was like a magnet pulling at my chest, like palpable feeling, like something was sucking literally my heart out of my chest. And my body would start to vibrate super fast, and I'd be scared that I was going to either have a heart attack or vibrate apart. Wow, beautiful birds just flew by. Thank you. So that has been my experience. I find myself either about to vibrate apart or my heart about to explode out or get sucked out of my chest. And I've been afraid. And usually I get so afraid I would shut it down. And I wouldn't go wherever it was that literally my heart seemed to be calling me towards. And now that I've done this several times, there's not so much fear. And so I allow that to happen. I rest into it. And immediately after that relaxation happens, I find myself in this place that there's literally no words for. It's ineffable. There's absolutely no way to describe this experience. The closest words I can give it is infinite nothing. Pure white light. There's nothing anywhere. And it feels like it has been that and there forever. And something about that infinite nothing feels like home. Odd as it sounds, there's nothing there, no feeling. It just there, it's total blank slate. And after this happened the first several times for me, I had been reading in one of the Dzogchen teachings the experience of well experienced and advanced Dzogchen dream yoga practitioners. One of them had shared that he doesn't dream anymore. Each night he rests in what he called the clear blue light of pure awareness. And this practice of dream work and dream yoga, as I said, is a deeply and profound spiritual practice in the Tibetan Buddhist and Dzogchen tradition. It is thought and taught that the most important thing we can do in our life, with our life, is to prepare for the day that we die. And this practice of dream work allows us to loosen our hold, our grasp to phenomenal reality. We understand it as, in a way, not even real. It's not all the way home. And over time, we learn to let go and let go and let go. And interestingly, as we let go and we let go and we let go, we're able to let go of the story that happened in the apparent past. The story that I had about my mom saying what she'd learned about me working with ayahuasca, like I can let that go too. I can even let go of all the fancy things I've had in my life and everything I thought I knew and needed to be happy and loved. I could let go and be in the moment. I can choose happiness for no reason. I can choose love for no reason. And I can experience the ineffable, infinite, everything. And there's I don't even know what more to say about that, except it's for me it's beautiful, and it just feels like this is a really, really important part of the work to help people let go, and learn to let go before they die. And dream work helps. So, wrapping that one up, thank you, beloved, for bringing me this beautiful lucid dream experience. Well, I didn't read the rest. At the end of this, I had a sense that I didn't need to visualize the Merkaba. I know how to get there without it. Just like chanting mantras taught me a frequency, I can access this ineffable immediately with no training wheels required. So wrapping this up, thank you for bringing me this beautiful lucid dream. What I'm taking from it is there's literally no words. I just get emotional with this kind of dream, this kind of experience. And I'm so grateful. I don't even have any words.
That says it all right there. Yeah, that's beautiful. I can see why.
Yeah, and I will say that there is something too, as I reflect on this dream, something I am taking from it is this last part, this sense that I had at the end that I actually don't need to visualize a Merkaba to go into this state. I actually don't need any fancy tools or technology or process or even teaching. I am, in one way of looking at it, we are that. And this is the essence of literally everything I believe. And at the same time, I don't believe anything. I don't, I don't, I don't hold on to anything really tightly anymore. And yet it appears that there's something in this inviting me next time in my lucid dream to go there with no props, to just like quickly like go to the infinite white light. And for some reason, I know I know the reason. That's a yes.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what I will do when I'm transitioning out of my body. And to master this in one's lifetime is sacred and important. Thank you. And thank you for joining, Julie. So
happy to be here. Oh, sorry. Didn't know my microphone was on. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I don't know if you realize we're just over an hour into the call. I'm really happy to have you join us. And this will be recorded so you can catch the replay afterwards if you like. But really, really happy to have you on the call, Julie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In this call, we are we're going through some practical dreams and literally going through the process as I do with the people who I serve. And I just went through, I guess, about 4 of my own dreams that I shared with Bridget and Suzette, who are on the call with us live, and shared with them how I do my own work and how this work that I'm doing with other people works. I will say when I'm working with other people, when they share their dreams, the role that I play is not only listening, but and I ask a bunch of questions, informed questions, to help them connect with what's really true for them and that which is most helpful for them and what came through in the dream. And then I support them as they go through their process. Usually they share what they're getting out of it first. And then if they ask me, I will share what feels appropriate and helpful to share with them from my own intuition and guidance for each dream. All right. Well, thank you guys for witnessing me. It feels really great to share my dreams for a change. And I'm really excited to hear yours, Suzette. Before I do that, is there anything, Bridget or Suzette, that you connected with and what I shared that you would feel like you would like to share, or you have any questions?
Yeah, just thank you for sharing that. And yeah, thank you for the reminder about non-attachment. I've just kind of woken up from 2 years of being really attached. And it's been really painful realizing what I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it helps me to get this feedback, to hear what, what resonates for people and what's helpful for them. And I appreciate you sharing that, Bridget. And this this letting go is huge. So thank you. And thank you to the mystery, to the beloved, for bringing that through in my dreams. And with that, Suzette, I am excited to hear your dream. Whenever you're ready, you know the drill. We've done it.
Lordy,
before.
Lordy. Okay, well, this was last night, and in true fashion, I saw Lucas's link, and that just tells me. I mean, I don't. It's like I automatically have a crazy freaking dream to think about, just because I know. I don't know. I know I want to and need to, but I did say before bed to please help me to have something, show me how to move forward, and live my highest life, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a 2-in-1 dream. There was a third one that I'm not even going to go into because it is so obvious. But if we have time, and if you want to hear the one from last week before that call, which I didn't make, that was a trippy one too that I can't figure exactly out. It's a definite loss of power dream. Well, all of them are. Okay. I was DJing a Christmas party for kids at a skating rink. And, it's a big white skating rink circle, like 50 to 80 kids. And I'm DJing it just from my phone. And I guess it came across the loudspeaker. And there's parents like up in the stands here and there. And they would come on and off at, different kids at different times. And I knew that the better songs I play, the more people. So I wanted to play really good songs for them. And at first it was going well. And then for the most part, I was pleasantly, and then I guess I don't know if I didn't have my glasses on or what, but I would accidentally press pause and have to start another song. And then I kept looking for a song and I couldn't find what I wanted. And just some random song would come on. And it was stressful because I wanted to do well. And I'm like looking down to see if they're coming off the, I want to say ice because it was white, but I think it was roller skating. I don't know that. And it's like a mini amphitheater. I don't know if I said that, in the stands around this skating rink where I was and the parents were. And at one point somebody's trying to help me, which I appreciated. And then I walked off to a different area. I kept hearing the tunes and I'm looking at my phone to still play them, and I assumed they were still going in that room as well. And after a few more songs, Groove is in the Heart came on. And I was like, oh God, awesome. They're loving that, So I start walking back to it. On the way back, I stopped to use the bathroom real quick. And there were a few stalls and maybe one other person in there, but the stall I opened has some really old poop in the toilet. So I decided not to go in there. And I walked back out to the skating rink, and the lights are off and nobody's there. And there's two people walking away, and I was like, how long ago did this end? Because I knew it must have just ended, surely. And that's it. And then next thing I know, I'm in the living room at my granny's house, who's passed away years ago. And I hear excruciating screams from down in the basement. This woman screaming, just go, get away from here. Screaming her lungs out. I mean, it scared me to death. And I knew it was a man torturing her. I just knew it. And that's what I thought. So I run out, and I run 2 houses down. I don't know, I didn't even stop to grab my purse or get in my car. I just ran 2 houses down, and this was in her actual neighborhood, I remember, and a low income kind of hood. But I opened, these 2 older ladies are sitting in their house, and just the screen door was shut, and I open it, and I'm trying to shut the other door, but it's only another screen door. I was like, oh my gosh. And I tell him what happened. There's this man, and he could be coming. I'm freaking out, and I'm like, I gotta go. I don't feel safe here either. Y'all are welcome to come with me, but I gotta go. And I run out, go like 5 or 6 houses down more, and I go down somehow a level, and there's several people down there hanging out outside, and I sit down. They're all sitting down, and like on a ledge or whatever, under stairs or something. And I start telling them, and I can barely talk, and I'm shaking, and I'm trying to scream it. And the guy says, are you trying not to laugh? And I said, no. And I finally tell him, and I said, and I left my purse there and everything. And this woman says, God, this sounds really bad. And that was it. So that's that dream.
Thank you.
And at the end, I said, yes. And I left my purse there and everything. That's the last thing from the dream. So that's it.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Wow. And as is typical with you, Suzette, like right before we're about to have a talk, the night before, you have like a super clear dream. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
Something about setting that intention.
I mean, it's clear in one way that I've got it down, but it's not clear to me, some of it. Well, you know what, Lucas? The end of it is clear, and I don't think it really, what it suggests in a way to me is don't look here. From downstairs, my subconscious say screaming, get out of here, get away, and it's like something I don't want to look at. And I've been told in my past life regressions that I've done 3 of, and I've been told by 2 different psychic readings, 2 different people altogether, that I don't want to look, that it was so bad what's happened in the past. Yeah, thank you. In other lives, that I just can't look, and I turned that ability off, because I really, really wanted to see these past lives, and I haven't been able to. But so that's that. And that makes me think, I don't know. So, well, what am I?
So let's
Go ahead.
Are you okay if we kind of back up a little bit and do our normal thing?
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much for sharing. There's a lot there. There's a lot of detail there. And I will do what I can to help you connect with your truth and that which is most helpful for you. So, first thing that we normally do is, what kind of dream is this? Is this an environmental dream? Is this a normal kind of metaphorical teaching, showing you in the language of metaphor something about yourself? Or is this literal?
A metaphor.
Okay, great. So then what we do is we look at the symbols.
Here's a question, or can I ask you something? Would
Yeah.
it be possible to take down that thing so we can really see each other? I'm having a hard time focusing.
Oh, yeah. Let me see here.
Eyes are bad. I've had some issues.
Of course.
The white messes with me. If I turn that down, I can't see you.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see, is it still on?
Yeah. I'll just put something over it.
Here it is. There we go. Nope. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Suzette. I should have done that a long time ago. How's that? Okay. So let's go through this dream. The opening scene. You find yourself where and how does it feel?
Good. You know, the roller rink, I'm helping kids have fun. I love DJing. I say all the time, you know, I get to do that in my massage. I love putting together the playlists, different ones for different people and whatnot. I spend hours doing it and researching. So it felt good,
Okay.
but a little stressful too, you know, because I'm responsible for this and I'm responsible for their good time. So I was putting pressure on myself, you know, or allowing it to feel, allowing myself to feel pressure.
Great. So overall, it feels good. You're playing this music for these kids, having a good time, and there's some pressure, right? You're responsible for, keeping the mixes down. And I have to laugh. I was a club DJ in Hollywood full time for 6 years, and we're of similar age. I remember Groove is in the Heart.
Yeah.
All right. So before we even go into more details, if we zoom out overall in this dream, what are the major feelings that you had looking at all of those
All of the feelings.
feeling states that you had? What are the strongest feelings that came through in this particular dream sequence? And can you give maybe 3 to 4 words to describe, starting with the strongest feeling state, and then the feelings that are less strong after that?
Well, it's 2 dreams in one.
Right.
So, but so I'll just take it as one big dream, I guess.
Sure.
But so the biggest feeling was terror.
Right.
Terror and fear, you know. And then anxiety and fulfillment and excitement
Mhm.
and a sense of power.
Okay, great. That's 5 or 6, right? So, and it was pretty much in that order, right? In terms of the energetic charge, there was terror. Terror was the strongest feeling, right? In the dream. And then fear is what I heard,
I
the
guess
second one. And then what was the next one?
anxiety or,
Anxiety.
yeah,
Yeah.
about playing it right and I got to get it right.
Right. Right. So, irrespective of all the details of the dream, what I like to do is focus most importantly on the feelings. There's a reason that those feelings are being revealed in the dream. So before going on or putting words in your mouth, I'm curious, is that when you feel into it, why do you think your higher self is showing you those, bringing your attention to those feelings?
because I want to release those feelings. I want to learn how to let go of those feelings and feel safe and comfortable and happy and nothing but love, you know.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And how that's what this work is for. And even when there's these feelings that are, you know, pretty deep in the subconscious. And interestingly, in your dream, you went into the basement, your grandmother's basement, and then there was even a deeper level beyond that, right?
I heard screams from the basement. I was upstairs, but yeah,
Oh, that's right. You were afraid to go in there. Yeah, thank you for clarifying.
I
Yeah,
wasn't even, I don't even know anybody else was there. I was just upstairs hanging out. You walk into the upstairs, there's a basement.
yeah.
Somebody was, I don't know who was down there screaming.
And when we talk, and I believe this has come up with other dreams we've gone through before, when you consider basement in a dream, that image, what correlation do you make with a basement in your dreams? What does that represent for you?
Conscious.
No brainer, right? For sure.
Yeah.
So there's, as you said, there's two, it's like there's two different dreams. And in a way, I think it might be helpful to decouple them. We look at that first dream sequence. You're in the amphitheater, you're playing your music for either roller skaters or ice skaters. Feels good, you like DJing, and there's some stress.
But I was
There's,
pleasantly surprised because even when I couldn't control it, it was good stuff coming on for the most part. And everybody was excited and happy with all the songs. I was like, oh, good. Oh, yeah, good. Yeah. So that
oh
was,
my gosh, that is, wow, that so often happens.
yeah.
I know we've talked about this before. When we're going through these sessions, someone will just say, oh, and then there was this other thought that's actually really quite profound.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that? What you just said, and you look
Yeah.
at it
So
in the
there was a
context of the
feeling. So that was a feeling too that I didn't touch on when you asked for the main feelings, because the other ones were just more powerful, stronger
dream.
feelings, I guess. But, that was a feeling of job well done, happiness, accomplishment,
Yeah,
um, success. So, I was just like, I would be stressed and just picked a song, but because I couldn't even see it on my phone hardly because I know glasses or something. And
yeah.
yeah, a good one would come on and I would just like, what even is this song? I've got this song in my library, and it could even be a country song, but it was good and people loved it. And I mean, I like country, not that I don't, but a lot of people don't. So yeah, I just noticed that I was pleasantly surprised. I wrote that down. Yeah. People were mostly liking it and I was surprised. So still skating and dancing, for the most part. Everybody was still wanting to skate and hang.
Beautiful. And what I remember you saying is that there was a part of you that was really stressed, part of
Mhm.
you also really enjoying it, but you were stressed and like figuring it all out and the technology and everything you need to take care of, and then something about not even being able to see the songs you're playing, and somehow you're magically picking stuff that people like even though you're not consciously doing it. It's all going great. People are
Mhm.
having a good time. These children feel great. Giving you a moment to sit with that and connect with more there.
Groove is in the heart is even my handle on Instagram. So, and it's more that groove is in the heart is why, not because of the song, but I was obsessed with that song too because I relate it to getting ready for going out in college and stuff, and we would blare that. So, but it's more the groove is in the heart. It's both twofold, I guess. But that's kind of interesting that that's my name on Instagram. So
Totally fits.
Yeah, for the most part, if you just chill out, things will flow. That's what I get.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it even happens in massage every now and then that something will get screwed up with the music, and I'm like, oh Lord, but I know they don't really care that much. It's more about the massage, but people are really into my music too. And I take pride in it. You know, pride might be a bad word, but um pleasure might be better. Um so yeah, that's what I get from this, I think. If you just chill out and don't try not to stress, and things come together, they just have a way of coming together, and no need to put all this pressure on.
Yeah.
But
Beautiful.
I'm wondering about at the end when nobody was there and the lights were off, and maybe because it didn't matter anyway and I was stressing, or
Well, and there's more to it because you left and you went to the restroom, right?
oh, that's obvious. There's some old crap that I don't want to look at.
You remember that, right? That's pretty common symbol for most people when they find themselves going to the restroom. There's something that is wanting to be purged,
Uh,
something that we're being invited to let go of.
uh, I
It's
didn't.
almost always what that represents for most people in my experience, including myself.
I literally
And if,
saw crap in the toilet too,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that experience, then you come back to this happy place. Things are going great while you're connected with your heart, and nobody's there. And
Mm.
quite a shock, right? Being in this happy groove with these children, everything's feeling good. All of a sudden, you see this crap, and you come back and you're by yourself. So I'm curious in this context is that, and this may be something to chew on, may or may not be on target or helpful, and maybe it's something that comes to you now. It seems that there may be some significance in why they were children you were playing for in the arena. Instead of adults.
Yeah. Dealing with my inner child stuff, or just because children are less threatening and easier to please. No.
In this kind of dream, it's a metaphorical kind of a dream, right? Where one way to look at it is that everyone that shows up in the dream is me.
Me. Yeah.
And the different characters that are showing up are inviting me to look at a part of myself and possibly times in my life that are contributing to some sort of feeling that would be helpful for me to feel and connect with. So in this case, I am inviting you to consider that specific feeling that you felt after you come back, expecting the party to be going on, the happy vibe, and all of a sudden, didn't you say the lights were off? It was
I was
dark,
disappointed. Yeah, I was disappointed.
like quite a remarkable contrast.
Mm-hmm. Everybody was gone except a couple people were walking off still.
Yeah. that feeling. I'm inviting you to feel that feeling, right? We're not going to do a whole shadow work session here today like we have in the past, but you know that feeling that came up, that feel like, wow, it's like just like nobody's here. Like like, oh, everything changed.
I wonder if it's because I walked out on them now, you know. I left them unattended. I left myself unattended. I stopped caring about myself, caring for myself.
Wow,
Yeah.
there you go. It keeps jerking. You know what that means.
Yeah. Does everybody else? Maybe you've said it before. Yeah.
And Julie knows.
That's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much, Suzette. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. So
Yeah.
let's zoom out on that first part of the dream, okay? And maybe we can do the like kind of the wrap up like we normally do. Right? Looking at that dream, this is what I'm seeing from that dream. This is what I'm getting from it. And this is what I'm committing to doing to honor that dream moving forward.
Thank you, God, for showing me this dream. And I'm getting that I have a huge effect on my surroundings and what I create. And I want to stay conscious and have absolute care and love for myself and my life, and not abandon me, because that affects my total well-being, which is, you know, what I'm here to do, is live my highest, best life for the good of all. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's some crap to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Boy, I
Find
didn't
the
even think
club.
that was a major one, but yeah, that's big. Mm-hmm.
Do you feel, Suzette, that that in any way is interconnected with the second half of the dream? Or are they two totally separate things?
I'm trying to be quick here. Not, I would really have to think about it. It seems like they're two separate things, but they
Yeah.
got to be, I don't know. Scared. No, I can see how they're connected, because if I was terrified and scared because of, you know, that's still not tending to myself to feel, well, who God, the layers could be pretty deep there. I mean,
Yeah.
what I don't want to think is that I'm not supposed to look. And that's kind of what the first instinct says, is when the woman is screaming, "Get out, don't you?" I mean, like the worst horror movie I've ever heard screams, you know. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't like that, because maybe I do have this hacked, you know, and I've even been told a few times I chose to turn off my extreme psychic ability this lifetime because I was punished so greatly for it before. Yet I still keep trying to develop it more and more, because I guess that's really who I am, you know. I mean, we all have that, I know, but if I'm so drawn to that,
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And as we have shared before, and I know you've experienced in different ways, the way through it is in it.
yeah.
And it happens in the right timing and the right way.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah, I
really
don't
grateful
want
that
to
this came up, because it's just and again, it's an example like this, how amazing this work is. Like the dreams, like if I didn't tell you that, like who else wouldn't? No one would have known that there's that in the subconscious. There's some really, pretty deep stuff there,
Mm.
which when fully embraced will absolutely transform things, not only in the way that you feel. That's a yes for sure, how you feel, also what shows up in your life. So much of this practice is finding those areas of resistance, as you know, right?
Yeah.
And in a safe setting with the right support, allowing yourself to really go into it. And that's not something that we would do on a public group call. That's gonna, I'm really, really happy that that has come up, and you're not. Holy cow! This is so common for so many people, including me. Like,
What is?
they're just like having some like major stuff that's super scary. It feels like, like multi-generational massive shit that I didn't want to touch. Um, for example, in my own experience, right? And I wasn't even ashamed to talk about some things, and one of the things I love about you is that you're so open, and showing
Mm.
up for this work and yourself and connecting with your dreams and embracing things the way that you do. Um,
Thanks, Lucas.
yeah. So thank you for setting the intention before the call today and sharing it with me. And um, yeah, there's some really good stuff there.
I've got another one for you some other time if you'd like. I mean, I would love to if you have a minute, because I'm sure we don't have time now.
Great. Next week,
Mm.
if you're able to join, I want to just keep on doing this, and even if it's only a few people who come live to the calls, it feels great to be able to see that a bunch of people watch the recordings on YouTube. And I think I got 7 or 8 comments from people so far that watch the replays each time. And,
How do I
just
find it?
on YouTube, it's Eyes Open Dream Doc. It's just Eyes Open Dream on YouTube. You can just do a search on YouTube
Okay.
for Eyes Open Dream. And then I'm also posting links to those videos on my coaching website. I created a tab called Free Dream Alchemy Course Replays.
Oh,
Uh, and that's at eyesopendream.com. All right. So I would like to share one more kind of dream if you're up to it. We got a few more minutes before this call. Are you up to stay with me for a little while longer? Glad to
yeah.
see Julie is with us still. Um, this is a different kind of dream. Let's see. Says I'm sharing. Is that right?
Yes.
You hear the monkey in the background?
Yeah, it's awesome. The reason I started laughing is because it's a sign of the geography. After you had the monkeys going, I had a big trash truck and me and Alfred outside making noise. I wondered if y'all could hear that. I was like, great. Rather have monkeys.
All right. So I'm going to share just a couple really fast, a couple of other kinds of dreams. As we talked about this, the scale of energy, so much of this work at the first part is the subconscious shining a flashlight on some of that denser stuff that really doesn't feel good to look at and that we're resisting. And it's usually after we've come to some beyond. I like Richard Rudd's description, the guy that wrote the Gene Keys. He describes this process of tolerating, and the first step is tolerating something. The next step is accepting something, and the final step is embracing something. And when we can come to the embrace of even some of these odd things in our family lineages, and about ourselves, things really, really transform. And it has been my experience that our dreams open up to being more literal in the way that they guide us in our life. And the next couple of examples are that kind of dream. So, and again, this is just the other night. In this dream, I'm riding a wheelie. I'm riding a wheelie quite confidently and happily behind a string of 5 other men riding wheelies ahead of me. We all stopped and I walked over to introduce myself. I noticed they're all of European descent and they were strikingly attractive and white, all of these men. And they felt like they were from Belgium or somewhere in Europe. I say Belgium because I spent time there. They felt kind of like Europeans. And it just felt fun. We were all riding wheelies together and we were all really good at it. And it was fun to find some other people who liked to ride wheelies and who were good at it because it used to be something I loved to do years ago. So we get off our bikes and I walk over to one of these guys, and for some reason I pulled out a business card from my pocket and I gave it to him. And as I handed to him, I remembered that I had an unlimited American Express black card. The business card was black, and for some reason, as I handed to him, I'm thinking like, I've got access to all the money in the world, or like this connection is somehow really rich. It's reminding me of my corporate days when I was making tons of money, and like money wasn't even a thing. So that was the feeling. The overall feeling was like I'm connecting with these guys. We're having fun.
I want your dreams, Lucas. Let's try.
And it always happens. You stick with this work, and I'll continue to, even if you're the only one that shows up on the weekend calls, and I know more people will come, we can keep doing this, and I'll help you for free however I can. And of course we
Very
can.
helpful.
Here's my plug for anyone who wants to do one-on-one work.
We're helping the world.
But I do have to charge for that. So anyhow, for me, this dream, and this is an example of when I say I'm literally living the life of my dreams. I don't make any significant business decisions or life decisions. Haven't for the last 6 years, unless I've been guided by my dreams. And the people who have been showing up in my life of any significance, I almost always have a connection with someone or something that feels like them before I meet them. So in this dream, again, summing it up, thank you, beloved, for bringing me this dream. What I'm taking from it is that it really feels good to remember how good I am at some things, and having fun feels great. And that these really attractive, successful businessmen like saw me and knew how good I am at what I do, and they invited me to hang out, and they knew that I could help them. And there was a remembrance of infinite abundance that's coming as I hand him my Black American Express card. But it's more than that. The way my life has worked, and I'm literally writing a book about it called Eyes Open Dream. The stuff that's happened is so magical, so absolutely off the charts. Like it's it's hard for some people to believe, and it has really happened. The stuff that first happens in my dreams, and then it happens in my waking dream afterwards. So I met these guys, they felt European. I remember the energetic footprint of this man I handed my card to. And you watch, it's going to be a matter of time. I am going to meet a man on Earth who's European that I end up doing business with. So when I meet people randomly at the cafes or wherever I am hanging out here, this informs my awareness. And nowadays it happens so much, I don't even tell people because for one, it kind of freaks people out to say, oh yeah, I met you in my dream 3 nights ago. Thanks for finally showing up.
Yeah.
And it's real. This is a magical, mystical life. And DreamWork helps us experience this every day. All right, real quick. The next one, I met a former client of mine, Clive Barker, at his huge home in Beverly Hills. He is an internationally famous author. And I helped design his screening room like 20 years ago, and we became friends.
In real life?
In real life, yeah. I didn't know he was an author. He was obviously super rich. Then one day he handed me a book. We started talking about it. This is the book I wrote. And went on from there.
He's an actor,
So anyway,
right?
he's an actor. Well, no, he's a producer and horror novelist.
Okay, I'm thinking of somebody
Oddly
else.
enough, and it's like I think he's actually sold more books than Stephen King. He's an internationally famous horror novelist and film producer. And interestingly, he receives a lot of what he writes about in his dreams.
Ah,
And he told me one day after I read a couple of his books and said, I'm really not into horror. He says, you know, Jeffrey, so I was going by my legal name in those days, horror and spirituality are not necessarily mutually exclusive. Funny this is coming up, Suzette, right now after what you just shared.
yeah.
And he sees in his work a spiritual offering in inviting people to go into the deepest parts of themselves, the parts that they're most afraid of without resistance,
Yeah.
and to cultivate a relationship even with the scary things. So anyway, he shows up in this dream and he invites me to meet with him in his beautiful office where he did his writing. And this guy's office is just, it's crazy. His office has literally got 32-foot high ceilings. And
Mhm.
it's just crazy, the office that this guy has. And in the dream, he invites me to meet with him. And then in the dream, I feel a sense of shock because I remembered that he invited me to meet him at 1, but I got distracted and I didn't show up. And then I remember thinking, I didn't even know for sure what time it was, or even if there was a time, like such a thing as time. And then a sense of relief comes over me. And then I thought about it because it felt like he was always there and I could show up and receive his support and help anytime. even though I know he's super busy, I was grateful that he was willing to meet with me whenever I arrived. So another really amazing dream. In this case, I don't think I'm going to actually meet Clive again in person. I don't think this was one of those direct things. I think this was an example of me feeling support, and in particular, encouragement to finish this book I'm writing, Eyes Open Dream. I've been distracted and doing some other things. And I keep seeing in my dreams, get back to the book, write the book. And maybe this is related to like how everything else is going to unfold. Some of the concerns that I had above will be alleviated once this book is released and I continue teaching this work. Let's see. We've gone 8 minutes over an hour and a half, so I will share one last dream here for now, till next week. In this dream, which I call Money is on the Way, nice way to wrap up the last 4 nights of dreams that have a consistent theme. I had a thought in this dream that I was a bit concerned about money. And then I thought about the Stanford Hospital project that I did. It was this $15 million project I did, finished in 2019. And in the dream, it was still ongoing for some reason. And I was talking to this guy who showed me this. It was like a receipt. And he says, here's a voucher. We can go ahead and invoice another $2 million on the project. Because he had spoken with the dean or the CFO there at Stanford for the Stanford hospitals and clinics. And then I had that feeling again, like I did before when we were invoicing over and over millions every month, and I was getting these gigantic checks. I was like, yeah, I got a big check coming. Money is on the way. And that was the end of the dream. But it's just another really beautiful, encouraging dream
Yes.
among several in the last 4 days when I did make a note of it and my intention, now that I think about it, I have been asking, like, what am I supposed to do? How am I going to support myself? You keep showing me just teach dream work and write about it. And all of these dreams are just showing me really clearly everything's going to be more than okay. Relax. And like you said, Suzette, when we're connected with the heart, we don't even need to really think so much. Beautiful music comes and people have a good time and everything works out beautifully. So that's what I'm taking away from that last dream.
Love
And it just goes on and on. I mean, I've got literally thousands of dreams. This is what, I don't know, 15 dreams in the last 4 nights.
it.
Um,
Yeah.
I didn't even paste all of them.
Mhm.
And all of them are really, really helpful. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I'm especially excited about is not just the shadow work stuff and this, the work that I'm now, the last 2 years, over half of the people I've been working with are coaches, learning this practice so they can use it to help their clients, dream informed coaching.
Mm.
But more than that, to illustrate, I mean, my magical life is because of my dreams. And it just feels like it's a whole nother way of walking life in the world when things show up in waking life that you've already connected with in your dreams. When I meet different people, I know why they're showing up, and I can either engage with them or choose not to based upon the feeling I had in the dream before we met in quote unquote real life. And I've been literally consciously dreaming up places before I lived there on purpose, adding different attributes, like the story I shared about the house with, I wanted a red door and I wanted this special desk that I could stand behind and sit behind. And it all appeared literally here in Costa Rica just a month ago. I lived there for a month in this amazing place. Had the pool, the jacuzzi, the meditation deck, like over a canopy of the junk, like everything, like all the things that I consciously felt in my dreams in a lucid dream practice, this practice of conscious manifestation, I believe has magnificent ramifications for the world that we find ourselves in and can literally dream up together collectively. So I'm inviting as many people as feel called to learn and share and help me and all of us dream up a world of love and connection and harmony and happiness. You know, life doesn't have to be hard, and massive transformation doesn't have to take long. And dream work helps. So I feel like I am complete with what I felt I wanted to share, and really, really happy for the three of you ladies. It's really interesting. I've helped, I guess, I don't know, 50 or 70 people, like one-on-ones over the last 6 years, and a lot of them for more than half a year. And 75% of them, at least, probably over 80%, are women.
Mhm.
For some reason, and lots of reasons, men have a harder time of asking for help and connecting with this other part of ourself that allows us to receive this clear guidance. So thank you for showing up, for being women, being on this call, helping me appreciate the feminine in myself.
You
And
bet.
one way of doing that and honoring it is through supporting women and nurturing and cultivating the feminine within myself and men who come. And I believe, coming back to what I said before, it is this feminine energy that is literally going to save this planet. And again, dream work helps. So keep on dreaming. Dream like your life depends on it, because it does. And with that, again, I say thank you so much, and welcome you. If you have any final questions or thoughts or anything you'd like to ask or share before we wrap up this call, please let me know.
I'm good. It was great. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your dreams, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our higher selves for teaching us and guiding us in our dreams. I'll be on another free group call next Sunday, same time, same place. Probably figure a way to put the lights on somewhere out here in my outdoor jungle office so you can see me better as the time goes on. But thank you so much. And thank you for anyone who has found this work on YouTube. May it serve you well. And as I mentioned before, there's more info at eyesopendream.com. And I'm happy to take calls with anyone who wants to learn a little bit more about the work in an intro call. So thank you. Keep on dreaming. And if you'd like, ladies, please come back next week. And in between now and then, set your intention, remember and record your dreams. And next week we'll do some more free dream processing and keep it rolling.
Cool. Thank
right.
you. Good night.
Night. Pura vida.
Pura vida.